In the bustling city of Lagos, where dreams were as big as the traffic was terrible, lived a young woman named Adama. Her life was not one of those shiny stories you see in the Nollywood movies. No, her own was filled with struggle. She lived in a small, cramped room in a face-me-I-face-you compound where the walls had more cracks than secrets. Every morning, she would wake up before the sun, her heart heavy with the worries of the day. She sold roasted plantain or boli by the roadside, her hands stained with charcoal and her face often covered in a thin layer of smoke. The world seemed to pass her by in a blur of fancy cars and laughing people, leaving her feeling invisible and alone. The other people in her compound did not make things easy for her at all. They looked down on her with scorn in their eyes. They would whisper behind her back, calling her the boli girl as if she had no name. "Look at her," Mama Nkechi would say to her friends, always smelling of smoke. "Who will ever marry such a person?" Their words were like small, sharp stones, and they hit Adama's spirit every single day. She learned to hold her head down, to avoid their gaze, and to find comfort in the shadows. Loneliness became her closest companion, a cold blanket she wrapped around herself each night. She often wondered if her life would ever change, or if she was destined to be forgotten. Adama's days were a repeating cycle of hard work and quiet sorrow. She would stand for hours under the hot Lagos sun, turning the plantains on her wire mesh, the heat making sweat run down her face like tears. She watched families pass by, mothers holding their children's hands, fathers laughing with their sons. She longed for a connection, for someone to see her, not just the plantain she sold. She dreamed of a day when someone would speak to her with kindness, with respect, and not with pity or disdain. She wanted to be more than just the poor girl at the roadside stall. She wanted to be somebody, to feel like she mattered in this big, noisy world. This constant feeling of being looked down upon made Adama build a wall around her heart. She became quiet and withdrawn, afraid to speak up for herself. If a customer tried to cheat her of her money, she would often let it go, just to avoid a confrontation. She believed that her voice was too small to be heard, that her feelings did not matter. Her spirit, once bright and hopeful, was slowly dimming under the weight of her difficult life. She prayed to God every night, asking for a small sign, a little bit of light to guide her through the darkness. She had no idea that her prayer was about to be answered in the most unexpected way. One particularly hot afternoon, as Adama was fanning the coals of her fire, she felt a small tug on her wrapper. She looked down and saw a little boy, maybe 5 or 6 years old, looking up at her with big, innocent eyes. He was dressed in a neat school uniform, but he looked lost and a little bit scared. Before Adama could ask him what was wrong, the little boy spoke in a clear, sweet voice. "Mommy," he said, "I am hungry." The word mommy hit Adama's heart like a gentle wave. Nobody had ever called her that. It was a word filled with love, a word she never thought she would hear directed at her. For a moment, Adama was too shocked to speak. She just stared at the little boy, whose name she would later learn was Leo. He did not see a poor boli seller. He saw a kind face, a source of comfort. Adama's heart, which had been so guarded, began to melt. She knelt down to his level and smiled, a real, genuine smile that reached her eyes. "Oh, my dear, you are hungry?" she asked softly. "Don't worry, I will give you some sweet plantain." She picked the best, softest piece of boli, peeled it carefully, and handed it to him. Leo took it with a grateful smile and started eating happily, not leaving her side. As Leo ate, he started talking to Adama as if he had known her forever. He told her about his school, his favorite cartoon, and how he got separated from his driver in the market crowd. Unlike the adults who judged her, Leo saw only a kind woman. He respected her. He asked her name, and when she said Adama, he repeated it with a smile. "Auntie Adama, thank you for the boli. You are very nice." His simple words of respect and kindness were like a healing balm on Adama's wounded soul. For the first time in a very long time, she did not feel like the boli girl. She felt like Auntie Adama. Their new, strange friendship was a beautiful sight. The little boy, Leo, stayed with her, feeling safe and protected. He made her laugh with his funny stories and endless questions. He did not care that her hands were black with charcoal or that her clothes smelled of smoke. He just saw her good heart. Adama felt a warmth spreading through her chest, a feeling she had almost forgotten. This little boy, this small stranger, had shown her more kindness in a few minutes than she had received in years. He had called her mommy, and in that one word he had given her a sense of worth and belonging. As the afternoon began to fade, a rough-looking man, a notorious area boy known for troubling vendors, swaggered towards Adama's stall. His name was Agbero, and his presence always meant trouble. "Hey, you!" he shouted at Adama, his voice dripping with arrogance. "You think you can just sell here for free? Oh yeah, bring my money!" He was a bully who preyed on the weak, and Adama was his usual target. She would normally tremble and quickly give him whatever money she had made, just to make him go away. Her heart started beating fast, and the familiar fear crept back into her mind. But this time something was different. Little Leo was standing right beside her, holding her hand. When he saw the way Agbero was shouting at Adama, his small face wrinkled with anger. He looked at the big, scary man and then looked up at Adama, who was trembling. He squeezed her hand tighter. Before Agbero could harass her further, Leo stepped forward. "Hey, leave my mommy alone!" he shouted in his small but surprisingly loud voice. "You are a bad man! Stop shouting at her!" The boldness of the little boy took everyone by surprise, especially Agbero. The big scumbag was shocked into silence for a moment. He looked down at the small boy who was glaring at him with so much courage. "What in this small rat they talk?" he grumbled, trying to sound tough, but the boy's bravery had caught him off guard. A small crowd started to gather, drawn by the commotion. Seeing Leo's courage, Adama felt a spark ignite within her. If this little child could be so brave for her, why couldn't she be brave for herself? She stood up taller, her fear slowly turning into determination. "Leave us alone," she said, her voice shaking but firm. "I am not giving you anything today." Agbero, now embarrassed that a small boy and a poor woman were standing up to him in front of everyone, did not know what to do. He muttered some threats under his breath, but the crowd was now watching him, and some people were murmuring their support for Adama. He knew he had lost his power in that moment. With a final, angry glare, he turned and stormed away, defeated. Adama looked down at Leo, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. This little boy had not only saved her from a bully, he had helped her find her own voice, her own courage. Just as the drama with Agbero ended, a sleek black car pulled up to the curb. A well-dressed man in a sharp suit rushed out, his face filled with worry. "Leo!" he called out. It was Leo's father, Mr. Adebayo, the CEO of a large tech company. He had been searching frantically for his son. Leo ran to his father, and after a tight hug, he immediately started pointing at Adama. "Daddy, this is my new mommy! She gave me boli and she was so nice and she saved me from that bad man!" Mr. Adebayo looked at Adama, his expression changing from relief to deep gratitude. He listened as Leo recounted the entire story with childish excitement. Mr. Adebayo was a man who valued character above all else. He was touched by Adama's kindness to his son and her newfound bravery. He thanked her over and over again, offering her money, which she politely refused. "Your son's friendship was payment enough," she said with a gentle smile. Impressed by her integrity, Mr. Adebayo insisted on getting her number, promising to do something to repay her kindness. He was not just a rich man. He was a good man, a widower who understood loneliness. In Adama, he saw a purity and strength that he had not seen in a long time. He could not get her out of his mind. True to his word, Mr. Adebayo called her the next day. He offered her a job as a caterer in his company's cafeteria, a position that would give her stability and dignity. Adama accepted with tears of joy. Her life began to change overnight. She left the smoky roadside and stepped into a world of respect and opportunity. Mr. Adebayo, along with Leo, would often visit her at the cafeteria. Their friendship blossomed. He loved her humility and her kind heart, and she was drawn to his gentle nature and the respect he showed her. They would talk for hours, sharing stories and dreams. Love began to grow quietly and beautifully between them. A year later, Mr. Adebayo proposed to Adama, not just because he loved her, but because Leo already saw her as his mother. Adama's journey from rags to riches was not about money. It was about finding love, family, and self-worth. Her story became an inspiration, a testament to the fact that kindness is a currency that never loses its value. The courage of a little boy and the kindness of a good woman had created a beautiful new family, proving that even in the toughest of times, hope can bloom, and a good heart can change everything.